Hey, what's up, guys? This is John, the review guy. Today I'll be reviewing a 3-year-old game, Final Fantasy 15. So obviously, since the game's been out for 3 years, it's been all patched up. So I basically got grandfathered into the definitive version of the game. Lucky me, or am I so lucky? So stay tuned and find out. So this is my first entry into the series. I would say people would argue to say this would be a wrong time to enter the series, considering that the game took 10 years to develop. And the more and more you play, the more you find out that a lot of the game mechanics are half baked. So to start off, you start off in the Kingdom of Lucius. Your character's name is Noctis. You are the son of King Regis, and your pop sends you to Altesia, where you are supposed to marry Lunafreya, your baby mama. You are accompanied by your dorky ass friends Gladius, Ignis, and Prompto. And when I say dorky, it's mainly Prompto and Ignis. They do some things in the game that are a little too deliberate, which does break the immersion in the game and makes you laugh in the process. Definitely going to talk more about that later. So here you are on this journey, which by the way is in a road trip style format, to go marry your future baby mama, aka Lunafreya. And when I mean road trip style, it's just that Noctis and his crew travel around the map in the Regalia, the Final Fantasy version of a Bentley. Along the way, you will come across many points of interest to collect chests, different ingredients for Ignis, who is your personal chef, and side quests, which mainly consist of go here, kill 4 of this type of monster, go here to kill this extra dangerous monster. Sometimes the side missions like to throw a curveball at you. Instead of being able to kill those group of monsters during any time of the day, get this. This is where it gets real exciting. This time, you can only catch this particular group of monster at night, which makes the game a whole lot more interesting. And if you couldn't tell, that was a hell of a lot of sarcasm. And not really. It does not make the game more interesting. And almost forgot to mention, every now and then, there is a character in the game who has you collect dog tags. You rinse and repeat this formula throughout most of the chapters, when eventually the game becomes much more linear and tedious, especially in chapter 13. And if you guys are just watching this video just to waste some time, and you know what I'm talking about, that chapter 13 chapter is horrible. And it's just as bad as every other journalist has said about it. At this point, you might think I hate the game just by what I've said so far, when actually I think the game is a very mediocre game. The combat is very fluid and has lots of flashy moves. The world has held up pretty nicely on the PS4 Pro, and I'm sure any of you guys who are running on PC, I'm pretty sure it looks pretty damn good on that. And there are lots of places for you to visit, meet, and dangerous dungeons to explore. The frame rate holds up pretty well, stays pretty consistent, and there's very minor dips here and there, nothing really game breaking. The story is decent as well. It was relatively easy for me to follow, considering this was my first entry into the series. Where Final Fantasy 15 falters for me is everything it does right, it takes a step back and does something to make you question, why did they do that? The world is a beautiful place to explore with above average level design, but you'll be doing the same task over and over again in this huge, beautiful, well crafted world. A ton of fetch quests, and a go to this location to kill this monster. That's really it for quest, no exaggeration. Now for the fluid, flashy combat, it looks awesome. You can form some cool flashy combos with your buds. But man, the combat's super easy. You don't necessarily feel like you're doing much, even though you're fighting multiple people on screen. You you basically just hold the circle button, and then you rotate the left joystick to do all the flashing moves, and every now and then you hold square to phase through incoming attacks. As for your friends, except for Gladius, they do some very hilarious, very deliberate movements. The best way I can explain it, guys, is, I'm an 80s kid, and I used to watch this movie over and over called The Three Ninjas. You might have seen it, might have not. And anyways, every time I watched that movie, I would try to copy their moves, but be serious about it, and thought I looked badass doing it. But in actuality, I was just flurrying my limbs around, looking like a kid at his first day in karate class. That right there was personally very immersion breaking for me, because every time I was just on the verge on getting into the game, one of my friends would do something like this. And that just doesn't convince me that these characters are badass enough to take down a whole army of demons and robots. And most of the time it just made me laugh and say, what the fuck is this? And exactly the same feeling if I were to watch the Three Ninjas movie I used to like when I was a kid today, and see this 4 foot tall kids with no muscle gains take out a group of grown ass men. It's not a one bit convincing. Yeah, I played many JRPGs before and never really felt like this. I believe I felt the intended way the developers wanted you to feel when playing that particular JRPG. All that being said, this is a very mediocre, forgettable game that I believe is very cheap right now. It should only cost a couple of bucks, and it's worth your time if you really have nothing else to play. And that's it for today's, guys. Thank you for watching this review. I did not mean to shit all over this game. I can't even wipe up this doo-doo because of the shortage of this damn TP we have right now. And you guys know what I'm talking about. Well, anyways, maybe this one just wasn't for me. And for all you hardcore Final Fantasy fans out there, I apologize if this review hit you on a wrong note. And if this video has left a lasting impression, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to stay up to date with my vids, turn your notifications on. Alright then, people, stay safe, stay healthy, stay strong, don't panic during times like these. Till next time, keep it right here for all tech, game news, and reviews. That review guy signing out. Peace.